승부석 2.
Going to Dasan Station now for game number 5.
Oh
what a map for game number 5.
Oh, this is going to be crazy. If you guys remember the last PvZ we had on this map on Dasan Station, it was possibly the craziest game in this tournament, period, of all the matches.
Pet's like, I can't go to the bathroom. Oh, okay, I got to play? Yeah. Yeah, you do.
He's like, I got to cheese again. I got to go, man.
See, I really got to go.
If he wins this game with another cheese on Dasan Station, he may become the most hated Korean player of all time.
Oh, you're telling the truth, man. You know, that would just be unbelievable if he wins 3 in a row with cheeses against the Foreign Hope in Neeb. And Neeb's got to be thinking to himself, you know, what cheese is coming out this time? Because I don't think, this is not a map where he can, it's not like we're going into Frost. And Neeb's like, well, he could go for a cheese. Maybe I go greedy, but scout as well. No, it's like, this is Dasan Station. So what cheese is Pet going to do? That is the question.
This is also Neeb's map choice. He's great at this map. He's famous for his play on this map. And always do the close rushes, and this is adept play, gains power, gains value. This is his playground.
That it is. Guys, we're going to jump into game number 5 right now. Which of these two players is going to the round of 4, Neeb or Pet?
과학기지로 떠납니다.
Welcome to Dasan Station for set number 5 here. Up in the top left, in the purple, the Protoss player, it is Neeb.
On his last life in this tournament, but so is his opponent. To the bottom right, in green, it is Pet. 2 all-ins in a row gain him victory. And we saw him attempt an all-in on Frozen Temple and fail. But in the last 2 maps, he was able to pull it off. We'll go for this quick gold base here early on. This can be attacked at range by Adepts. We'll see if Neeb decides to punish this. There's so many different things that we could see happen here. And I'm actually getting really hyped. This series, I mean, it's hype enough that Neeb, if he had won the last 2 games ago, it would be 7-0 in this tournament. That would be a story in itself. But that would go to a 5th game where it feels like this is actually a series. I'm getting pretty excited.
No, seems like a series, regardless of how we got here. It is set number 5, and that means that both these players have taken 2 wins and have made it so. And Neeb, he scouts the gold, of course, with this probe. And as I said before, he's just got to really identify what is the build from Pet. Because I feel like if he can hold it off and take it late, or just hold it off in general, like he did in Frozen Temple, like if you just hold it off against this player, you're probably going to win. And I feel like that's the key here for Neeb, maybe what he lost touch of in those last 2 games.
I'd have to agree with that sentiment. All right, this
6 more Lings.
Scouts this. Lings coming out. He's going to commit to this heavily. This probe, if it goes home, won't necessarily see this. He doesn't know what's in that egg. And he's going to chrono boost out and adapt. He's going to tight wall this. He's going for his own expansion behind. It's tough to make this work, obviously, if you have a tight wall. I feel like if he's really going to commit to this attack, like into a 2-base Protoss, he needs either a drop or a Baneling Nest. Okay, there's the Baneling Nest. He is just going to Baneling, Ling all in. I think this is such a risk. I mean, putting his whole tournament, the advancement to the semifinals off of Baneling all in on a map where Protoss is literally holding from a high ground on a small ramp.
It's kind of interesting though, you know, because it really, it's going to be good against Neeb's style if he goes for the Resonating Glaives and a bunch of Adepts, but at the same time, we've seen Neeb have incredible splits against Baneling play, slow Baneling play off creep. He's so good at holding it off.
Oh, he needs to deny the scout on those extra Lings. Okay, he does. Nicely done. If he knows this is coming, he just makes a pylon wall at the top of the ramp, buys times. Once
sees
he
the
can
other
get a
Lings.
sentry, okay,
He knows.
He knows what's up.
He doesn't see the Banelings, but he knows.
Okay.
Immediately a gateway comes down. Oh,
that's okay. He gets the gateway up. This is a very, hit point heavy wall. I mean, there's not a pylon in this wall.
Yeah, gets another pylon behind it just in case. making more and more adepts. And here we go. The Baneling's coming up. Going to hit that weak gateway. And it goes down.
Gateway goes down here. He's got these units in as much of a wall as he can here. Another adept will pop out soon. The rest of the game is not ready. Photon Overcharge goes down, but the pylon is not long for this world, and that will unpower this wall. He does not have power to get that next adept out. Pet is going to try to cheese his way into the round of 4.
It looks like he may be able to. Let's, not call it yet here. We got all the probes now pulled off the line. He's able to warp in 2 more adepts. He finished that warp gate research. Very, very important.
Yeah.
But more and more Lings and Banelings coming across the map. This is not going to be an easy feat for Neeb.
But he can definitely do it. He can absolutely hold this. If he pulls his probes correctly, if he targets down these Banelings the right way. Remember the same larva problem that had last time. He could have. If he could just get a wall up at the top of his ramp, he absolutely can hold this. He needs to make sure he's getting good value with these adepts, and so far he certainly is.
He really is. Finishing that warp gate research was so important. Even if this unpowered gateway goes down, he's got a nice big amount of adepts now. He has to be careful, though, not to overextend. There's also no pylon nearby to help hold this.
And Pet even knows he's in a bit of trouble. He's trying to transition into a Roach Warren. This is a little bit concerning. Oh, I love the choice to carve down the Cyber Core. He's going to need to remake that ASAP. He's already given up on making a wall. He will not be getting a wall in this game. He's just going to try to hold with units alone, with Mothership Core energy. Good control here with the probes. Neeb's probe control in this series is out of control good. Very, very quick reaction time as well.
Really is. And look at this. He's got to warp in some Zealots now. This is not what you want. I mean, they're going to be okay against the Lings, but the Roach follow-up is going to be interesting. Pet now actually going into a 3rd base, so he's going to back off for now.
He survives.
Whoa.
Neeb survives. He has glaives too. Like, he did this with glaives. He has resonating glaives. This is actually insane. So the adepts are very powerful, and if he is able to identify, which will be difficult to do without any way of scouting, if he is able to identify the transition, he could put on some counter pressure.
Yeah,
but he doesn't have an observer, he doesn't have any hallucination energy, he can't even make sentries right now because of the Cyber Core.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that point, because this is always something that gets lost on some lower level spectators where they're like, oh, he's got a great timing, he should go for it. But this was always one of the hardest things for me when I was playing StarCraft at a high level. Do I go? Am I ahead? Do I have this, this timing where he's not going to have a lot of units? Did he drone up heavily? Is he making more units? Is he going to surround me in the middle of the map just like game number 2?
All right, here we go. He's going to check with this Adept Shade. Once he sees all these Lings and Banes, he certainly will cancel. Oh, if he commits to this, he made some mistake, a huge mistake. He still splits incredibly well and kills all the Banelings, but this obviously was not a good trade, not even close. And this really gives Pet a little bit more of an into this game. Now, this will not cost him the game, but it was absolutely a mistake. And when I say mistake, I mean it was just the incorrect choice. He couldn't have known that. He didn't have vision of the Banelings. If there were no Banelings, this would have absolutely been good.
Just another great trick from Pet. This guy is just so tricky, so slippery, and so aggressive. And wow, I mean, it was a great beat to get him up there and, really even up now the army supply. I think he does get the scout on those 2 Stargates, and he is going to go into a Hydralisk stand.
It's going to be +1 Phoenix as well. We talked about how ever since the beginning of StarCraft 2, even in Wings of Liberty, when Zerg players Baneling all in, Zergling all ins fail, the most powerful thing you can normally do is go into Phoenixes or Void Rays. And in the past, Void Rays were the way. With how Void Rays work now, it's definitely better to go Phoenixes. You could clear up Overlords, you could deny vision, you can force them to use money to make Overlords while also harassing and killing drones. Pet does have a healthy Queen count, obviously, but he needs to make sure that these Overlords are protected. And if he's making Spore Callers, that's expensive too. And he could just attack with and lift all the Queens with his Adepts, just crush the small Hydralisk count as well.
There are no spores at these bases.
Yeah, he's playing so greedy. Neeb is actually going to commit to the Shade this time and is just going to target down drones.
He's going to get so much damage done. The Roaches, they're slow. They can't get on top of those. Nice pull on the drones. No Shade just yet, but I think he's going to go for it now and try to target down as many of these drones as possible and really try to wreck the economy here of Pet.
And he's wrecking it. 13, 14 drones, 15, 16. I mean, he could get 20 here.
Oh, he actually just commits. He doesn't even shade out.
Shade away. Gets 20 drones. This almost forces Pet to counterattack all in. He has, on this map, it's hard for Zergs to attack once the Protoss holds this gold base with a wall.
Look at the sentries. They're waiting there at the choke.
Yep.
He's like, you're never getting through there.
No.
You don't have drop over. Where are you going to go?
Also, he's going to kill reinforcing Hydras potentially with these Phoenixes because in low numbers they can't fight this. He's going to get 2. Could even grab perhaps the third one. He does. He's just going to pick these up.
Number 3, number 4, number 5, and he keeps all but one of these Phoenixes alive. And Pet now really in an awkward situation. Do I attack? Can I attack? I don't think so, not with those sentries. Maybe he doesn't know about it.
Okay, here we go. He just needs a force field.
Now he knows.
He's got so many overcharges. Now,
the
Ravagers can knock the force fields down, so we'll have to replace them basically immediately every time. Incorrectly predicting that force location. The second one is good. He has to just immediately replace these every time. The pylons are almost ready.
Look at the trades that Neeb is taking. He needs those pylons, though. More and more units streaming in.
Okay, gets the wall up, or rather the pylons up, that is to say. And there's no corrosive pile in this force. He finally goes down, but he's got one more. In fact, I think actually 2 more here. And look, he's just going to cut this army in pieces.
More,
He's
and here we go.
Okay, there he does. He's just a little bit late on that one. Overcharges here, starting to fade away. Another Immortal coming down. This one's already used its barrier, but I think he can hold this. There's a lot of queens.
It's so close. More and more roaches being streaming across the map, but the Immortals, they are so key. They've been protected in the back the entire time.
Transfuse energy now being used here, but this is not the time he wants to be using it. He wants to be using it while he's pushing, not while he's retreating off creep. Just mass Immortals here. Mothership core being remade.
2 at a time.
Yeah.
2 Immortals at a time. He knows those are the key units. Now 3 more sentries. I think he holds that for good.
He has 5 more gates coming up with 64 probes. And with all these dead queens, Pet just decides to transition to a Lurker Den. But he is just so far behind. Tight wall over there at the backdoor base as well. He's never going to break in.
Neeb even getting a little bit aggressive, or at least wants to get close enough to escort the Adepts so that he can shade for some scouting information, see what's going on. And yeah, I mean, Pet is going for this back door. There's essentially nothing here. This is what makes this map pretty crazy. You have this backdoor path. Now immediately about 11 roaches in your back door. What are you gonna do?
Oh boy, he actually empowers a lot of these gateways too. He did not react very quickly because most of his army was back in the middle of the map looking for that pressure, that escort you were talking about. 16 dead probes. And this actually swings Pet back into this game. And in fact, if he kills some of these expensive units, it could be a problem. Nice barrier usage here. And obviously with 3 Immortals back, these roaches
he wants to attack the front. Once again, he's coming from 3 different locations. That 1 sentry not going to be enough. He actually backs off now to try to, stop these units from getting in. And actually, Neeb has correctly identified that that front with the queens coming in is not the most dangerous location for him right now. He's correctly split here, even though he took a lot of probe damage. He keeps the Nexus alive. He doesn't lose a lot of key units here. So that's very nice for him. He's taking actually a 4th base as well, at the same time as Pet. Pet getting that out a little bit earlier.
The real key here, I think, is the Immortal count. He has enough Immortals to fight Lurkers now. He should be able to take that out pretty handily. Even if you look at the supplies right now, they're even in workers, but Neeb has a larger army, and he has the better tech. There's not even a single Lurker on the map yet. 4 of them are morphing right now. But I mean, these Lurkers against this large Immortal count, the barriers, if he uses them correctly and he targets, I mean, he just has such a large army. He's going to have charge 2, he's going to have +2 attack. I think Neeb is pretty much going to just go seal the deal at this point in time.
Yeah, I think so as well. The Oracle is even coming out here. Going to be great for Revelations, making sure he can see where those Lurkers are and get the detection down. Coming from this angle, this is, the most open spot on this map, basically. And he's caught some of these units out, and he gets the Revelation down.
Not even burrowed. Here's the Observer. If he keeps that alive, he maintains vision. Force field trapping these units. This should be the final fight. Neeb narrowly will advance to the semifinals here, force fielding these queens out.
Looks like it just barely. He's going to push up the ramp now. These units on the retreat, and more units streaming across the map. Neeb, he has done it. The miracle hold, just barely.
And he will advance. Incredible performance in both the round of 16 and here in the round of 8. This is going to be it. Pet doesn't want to come to terms with it, but he lost GG.
Neeb! He does it. He takes the best of 5 in a 3-2 fashion. And there you go, the little smirk out of our player, our foreign hope, the NA hope, coming out here and making it to the round of 4. It was so close. This guy right here, he almost snagged it away from him. But in the end, Pet will be going down, and Neeb will be moving on to face Stats in the round of 4.
All right, Neeb victorious. Such a famous player in North America. There were haters. There were people saying he wasn't going to win a single map. There were people saying if he was going to do well in KeSPA Cup, he would have already won foreign tournaments. He would have already taken multiple big titles overseas if he was ever going to be as good. But he comes here, he trains, he lives in a team house, he plays on the Korean ladder, he plays customs with players like the one he just defeated, with GSL champions, and he prevails. He prevails here 3-2. And we'll go on to the semifinals. We'll see it Protoss versus Stats.
And